Tonight on Most Shocking.
It's getting out of control, hitting trash cans there.
A high-speed outlaw's run from justice ends in a devastating crash.
Look out, he's losing it. Oh, he crashed into a fence.
Plus,
get out of the car now!
A drunk behind the wheel of a dump truck leads police on a wild chase. And
you got him.
A cop's daring pit maneuver knocks a crook off his wheels. Later, a thief with a load of jet skis weaves a trail of mayhem and destruction. Then, a drug-crazed renegade runs out of road.
He's on the sidewalk now.
And cops the ultimate buzz from police.
Okay, he's been tasered.
This is not a movie. Everything you're about to see is real. Brace yourself. This is Most Shocking High-Speed Chases.
Los Angeles, California.
This pursuit has been circling around the USC area.
Police pursue a felon tearing up the streets of Southern California. And he's hell-bent on escape. The suspect's name is Ricardo Moore, a delusional desperado who thinks he can outrun a fleet of squad cars.
I'm counting about 5 units in pursuit here.
And a swarm of choppers. Moore decides to crank things up a notch.
Speed's picking up. Whoa, a very close call there.
Ground units back off, but Moore doesn't back down.
You can see him wobbling around that turn and smoke from the tire as he skids out.
He charges into a residential neighborhood.
LAPD units have caught up as this guy makes his way. Oh, look at that! Oh my gosh! Skidding out of control, hitting trash cans there. He may have hit a vehicle.
Incredibly, he punches the gas.
Oh, almost hitting a car coming the other way.
Moore has just gotten lucky twice. There won't be a third time.
He's coming up on cross traffic, just misses that car. Look out, he's losing it. Oh, he gets up in a jam and he's crashed into a fence. Unbelievable.
The near miss in the intersection forces Moore to swerve wide, and he never recovers. But the man remains defiant, grabbing hold of the fence and refusing to let go.
The guy is out of the vehicle now, but he's not going down without a fight. They're trying to tug him away here. This was a dramatic ending. Fortunate that no one was in his path, and it looks like they've got him free now. LAPD is swarming him.
Moore is arrested and booked on charges of felony evading. Thankfully, no one was injured during his wild rampage.
Oh, skidding out of control, hitting trash cans there.
Which gives this LA story
just misses that car.
A true Hollywood ending. Carrollton, Georgia. Corporal Johnny Lynn has just spotted a suspected car thief. The gunning outlaw is Matthew Dana Britt. He's on a drunken rampage after stealing his mother's car.
The suspect was going to do possibly whatever it took to get away from me. I wanted to catch up with this guy pretty bad.
Corporal Stacy Williams joins the chase.
Based on his aggressive driving techniques or his behavior, blowing stop signs, running 40 and 50 miles an hour, this guy had to be stopped.
Williams races in for a daring pit maneuver. A sharp hit to the fender launches the SUV into a bone-crushing barrel roll.
The first thing that went through my mind was, this guy's gonna be dead.
The officers cautiously surround the mangled wreck.
There's always a worry. There's going to be something in that vehicle that's going to hurt you, and whether or not you're going to make it home at night.
Who else is in here? Is there anybody else in this car? Keep your hands up.
Matthew Dana Britt is safely apprehended. Battered and bruised, he'll be spending the next 7 years behind bars.
It's our job to protect the public. We got on him quickly, we stayed on him, and we brought the chase to a quick and decisive end.
Bel Air, Texas.
We've got a situation that may come up very critical right now.
A man is threatening hundreds of freeway commuters with a deadly weapon. His 30-ton semi. Job stress and meth use have caused him to snap.
The law enforcement officers are trying to slow this maniac down in this 18-wheeler.
Now the madman leads officers, including Anthony Hefferon and Joe Jenkins, on a terrifying chase.
The big thing for me, what was going through my mind was, how are we going to get this semi-stop?
Something told me, do not get in his path. Do not cut in front of him.
The jacked-up trucker sends a clear message. He'll keep going, no matter who's in his way.
He purposely went out of his way to strike a police car, so the stakes did go up at that point.
Unfortunately, his obstacles right now are innocent motorists. The behemoth bowls through traffic, striking countless cars. Nothing slows him down. But a construction zone could change everything.
Keep your eyes on this. All the cars are closing in. He's not going to have much room to go.
And we get to that point and it's just complete standstill in traffic.
Cops leap out and run toward the driver.
Go, go, go!
And as I get to probably about mid-trailer, I hear him start revving up the engine again. And that's when you go, oh no, what's going to happen now?
Suddenly, the driver throws it into gear, bulldozing through cars and trucks.
He's trying to push him forward, trying to push him forward. Look at this.
I was floored. I couldn't believe it. I would never thought in a million years that he wasn't going to stop or that he was going to do what he did.
The insane maneuver gets the trucker through the logjam, giving him a wide open road. But it also gives cops just cause to unleash their full firepower.
There's other officers that are lining the road that are shooting at the truck at this point.
Giant slabs of rubber fall to the pavement as the big rig's tires are ripped to shreds. Soon, the lumbering giant has been brought to its knees. Officers on foot move in, firing into the engine.
They fired some rounds into the radiator and it came to a stop.
The road warrior is wrestled to the ground. The reign of terror finally over. His path is a wasteland of twisted metal, but fortunately not of injured civilians.
You're just so happy that you've stopped him or that you played a small part in stopping him.
Hector Barrazzo is charged with aggravated assault on a public servant and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Considering the damage he caused and the lives he endangered, it's a decade that's well deserved.
He's trying to push him forward, trying to push him forward. Look at this.
Coming up, a crook towing a load of jet skis goes berserk, triggering a terrifying freeway showdown. Then, a blitzed renegade wreaks havoc on the street.
He's on the sidewalk now.
But his wild run comes to an electrifying end.
Okay, he's been tasered.
Later,
I need some help. This guy's driving crazy.
a cop gives a crook a lesson in hard knocks.
Yeah, hello.
That's straight ahead on Most Shocking High-Speed Chases.
Kego Harbor, Michigan. Officer Greg Palmer is locked in a harrowing chase
Yeah, danger pickup truck.
with a bandit towing 2 stolen jet skis. His name is Gene Sovey, and he's a threat to everyone on the road.
This man was out of control as far as I was concerned.
Another officer makes a bold move to box in the bulky rig. But before Palmer can close in from behind, the suspect tries an outrageous tactic.
The suspect vehicle cut in front of the patrol car. Jet ski catapulted off of the trailer, struck down a mailbox, struck down a street sign. What he was trying to do is shake that trailer loose for somebody else to hit. At that point in time, I knew this person was playing for keeps.
The remaining jet ski wobbles with each jerk of the wheel. Another potential road missile ready to be launched. And on the freeway, it could become a weapon of mass destruction. Suddenly, an unmarked unit from the Troy jurisdiction tries to cut off the truck. But Sovey fights back.
The suspect hit the Troy police car, slamming them both into the guardrail. The jet ski became airborne. I thought, oh my God, it's going into the oncoming traffic of I-75. Fortunately, it took a turn and went on the southbound side and traveled into the ditch.
Now, the leftover slab of trailers slices back and forth like a giant saw blade, threatening to take out other cars. More units join the chase. At a roadblock, spikes puncture the pickup's tires. Sovey's attempt to avoid them shakes loose the mangled framework of metal.
I'm going to stand by the trailer till somebody gets here and gets this thing out of the road.
As Palmer and a colleague clear the debris, the news comes over the radio.
Be advised that the subject that was being pursued is in custody.
Thanks to the textbook teamwork of officers, this one-man wrecking crew met more than just his match.
Suspect gets caught, and the good guys win.
This started out by Northfield and has wound its way back and forth.
Glenview, Illinois.
Well, this driver is acting erratically, going through parking lots and cutting off cars and grazing fences and almost causing accidents here.
Reckless driver Christopher LaBarbera refused to pull over for police. His wild flight has kept officers guessing for half an hour. The suspect has a record that includes armed robbery and discharging a firearm.
They do believe this individual is under the influence of some sort of drug.
Add narcotics to the mix, and police could be dealing with a lethal concoction.
Well, let's just hope that they can get this guy stopped.
LaBarbera is running out of road, so he uses the next best thing,
They're going to try to box him in now, and he's going up on the curb. He's on the sidewalk now, going through the trees. He's on the grass here, going eastbound across the sidewalk. This is getting really dangerous here. It looks like he's going to be turning into the alley now, southbound.
The risky ploy buys the junkie some time, but it also seals his fate. The brick walkway flattens his front tire. The fugitive fights for control of his crippled car.
Well, he's lost the left front wheel. He's lost the left front tire now. There's not going to be anywhere else for him to go.
The frustrated driver springs from the vehicle. He gestures maniacally in the throes of his chemical high.
They have him at gunpoint now.
But police have a 50,000-volt response.
Officers with their weapons extended. Okay, he's been tasered. He's been tasered here.
Authorities swarm the downed man and slap on cuffs. A remarkable ending to a volatile situation.
This suspect is now in custody.
The barber is charged with driving under the influence of drugs and resisting arrest.
Going into the opposite lane.
He's just lucky that cops not only brought him in quickly, but safely as well.
Okay, he's been tasered.
Canton, Georgia.
25, you clear, he's all over the road.
Officer Christopher Knight finds himself tailing a virtually unstoppable force. A dump truck.
Stop the truck now.
A vehicle that size, you know, could destroy anything in its path.
The man behind the wheel, Emmett Brown, drives the truck for a living. But today, he's all liquored up with nowhere to go.
All right, we're going to stop here. He's blocking the road here.
Cruisers pull in behind the drunken joyrider, which could be a very bad move.
Hey, he's backing up.
Knight's cruiser is sorely overmatched.
Don't move it! Don't move it!
I exited my patrol car and drew my service weapon.
Don't move that car!
I didn't know if the truck was going to try to back up or try to ram me, run into me.
Get out of the car now! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
The suspect ignores the high-caliber warning and barrels on.
Headed back towards the bypass here.
He's taking a quick hold.
Corporal Ray Pugh takes the lead in the pursuit, just as officers catch a break.
I knew it was a dead-end road, and I said to myself, this chase is going to come to an end here.
Seconds later, the dump truck rolls to a stop.
We could tell that he was trying to get the truck in reverse. The backup lights continued to come on.
Officers race to the cab, mace in hand.
I grabbed the side of the dump truck, pulled myself up, and initiated pepper spray into the direct facial area of the driver.
The pepper spray has no effect, but the booze does, and it nearly cost the tanked rebel his life.
He passed out, fell out of the driver's side, striking his head multiple times on the side of the truck. His upper torso was up under the front wheels. The truck was still backing up at that time.
Pugh pulls the driver free, saving his life by a hair.
The dump truck did run over his right arm, in between his elbow and his wrist. If I wouldn't have pulled the driver out from under the truck, the front steer tire would have ran over his head.
Brown has a lot to live down due to this foolish escapade, but it's only because of officers' quick actions that he gets to live at all.
Up next, speed freaks plow straight into a herd of cows, but get corralled by a posse of lawmen. Plus, a Texas biker and his girlfriend blister the blacktop.
95 miles an hour.
But one wrong turn leads to a flesh-burning wipeout. Then, a gassed-up hoodlum plays bumper cars with a tenacious cop and loses. When most shocking, High-speed chases returns.
And Jeff Sawyer hit pay dirt.
We were probably 50 yards from us. They didn't see us. While they were stealing the anhydrous and walking around, I was making phone calls to the sheriff.
The gang, led by two-time felon Justin Fuqua, loads up and takes off.
As soon as they started to leave, I turned my lights on. And the chase was on.
Feeling the heat, the gangsters do the unthinkable.
I could see the guy in the back seat. He was opening the nozzle to his anhydrous hose that was hooked to his tank. I thought, there's no way that he's going to point this at me. There's no way.
The desperate felons do just that. The toxic smokescreen quickly overwhelms Sergeant Sawyer.
124, jump up in front.
Inhaling anhydrous ammonia takes away all the moisture from your eyes, your mouth, your throat. So you feel like you're being microwaved on the inside of your body.
From out of nowhere, the pursuit takes a bizarre turn.
And all of a sudden, there's cows in the middle of the road.
Cows, we're going to hit the cows, we're going to hit cows.
The crazed druggies plow through the herd, clipping one cow's leg.
I stepped on the gas and closed my eyes and made it through there.
Still battling the noxious fumes, Sawyer spots an opening and goes for it.
Right off the road, right off
A shower of sparks, a perfect pit, and the getaway car is sent spinning into a ditch. The suspects are stopped, but danger still hangs in the air. Ignoring the volatile gas all around him, the driver actually lights up a cigarette.
I don't know if he wanted to blow up or what, but that was just his reaction.
Despite the risk, the officers move in. Luckily, the flame, along with the gang's escape, is extinguished.
After we had the suspects into custody, I felt a big relief that everything was over.
Because of the persistence of these fearless cops, local meth heads have been put on notice.
Right off the road.
Smith County, Texas.
1593, I have a motorcycle, the white male, white female running.
State Trooper Joe Hogue tries to flag down a couple on a motorcycle for not wearing helmets. But this tandem twosome isn't sticking around for a ticket.
95 miles an hour.
The trooper moves in close, and that's when he sees it. The woman shoots Hogue a terrified glance. The officer now fears she's an unwilling participant in the chase. And it's about to get a lot more dangerous.
I'm at 120 and I'm right behind him.
It looks like the man may finally pull over. But instead, he rockets onto a bumpy dirt road.
We're headed back west.
The biker misses an oncoming truck by mere feet.
100 miles an hour, still westbound on this county road.
Hogue fears a catastrophe is just one wrong turn away. Unfortunately, the trooper's suspicions are dead on.
Okay, they blacked out on FM 1892.
The maniac cuts right, straight toward a stop pickup, and loses it. Unpadded bodies slam onto the blacktop. Amazingly, the driver jumps to his feet and tries to get back in the chase. He's quickly cuffed. Hogue then turns his attention to the injured woman.
1493, Tyler, give me an ambulance.
Where are you hurting? Where are you hurting?
Incredibly, both riders survive with only scrapes and bruises.
Everything I can see is just your scraped up, okay, from the pavement. I don't see anything that appears to be broke, okay?
The suspect, Larry James, ran because he had a suspended license. For that, he'll spend the next year in jail. As for his girlfriend, this near-death experience should have taught her a lesson about riding without a helmet.
100 miles an hour.
But just 1 year later, she's charged with the same offense. Columbus, Ohio. On a rainy evening, Trooper William Davis spots a Mazda with a problem. Its plates belong to a Cadillac. But that's not all. The driver, Mike DeVono, has a suspended license. Plus tonight, he's even more sloshed than the road. Davis moves to block him in. That's when the trooper is faced with a dilemma. There's a helpless passenger along for the ride.
5-2, 1 white, 1 black.
But when the suspect heads back on the freeway, he nearly takes out a passing motorist. Davis can't afford to play nice.
31,
He gets the man pinned. Or so he thinks.
Just hit me again.
The other man raises his hands, wanting no part of this. He'll have to ride it out a bit longer. The cop plows the Mazda down the road, then steers it into a ditch. DeVono makes a break for it, but a fence stops him cold.
Stop right there. Stop right there on the ground. On the ground.
Trooper Davis finally nails him with a taser.
You better stop right there. You keep your head on the ground.
A backup officer arrives to assist the rider, who's more than ready to surrender. DeVono is sent to jail for assault, fleeing and eluding, and DUI. His pal, meanwhile, learns a valuable lesson. Friends don't let friends drive drunk, especially when you're riding shotgun.
Coming up, runaway crackheads bail out, right under the wheels of their car.
He's running on foot.
Plus, armed felons make a breakneck escape until their getaway gets blindsided. And when a lawless lady triggers a dangerous pursuit, her boyfriend decides he's had enough. That's next on Most Shocking High-Speed Chases.
Tallapoosa, Georgia. On a major corridor between Georgia and Alabama, two drug runners are in the flight of their lives. Sergeant Brian Rutherford tries to reel them in.
The suspects had thrown out numerous blocks of marijuana during the pursuit.
But the bulk of the cargo is in the trunk of their Cadillac, and they're risking everything to keep it.
At times, my patrol car speed, I know, was 125, 130 miles an hour. They were desperate and just did not want to have anything to do with the police that were behind them.
But the squad cars aren't going away, and the drug dealers' odds are about to get worse.
We were able to contact Alabama State Troopers who were able to get ahead of the pursuit and put down spike strips.
Approaching an underpass, the driver spots the trap, but too late. Seconds later, the tires belch white smoke.
When I saw smoke coming from the vehicle, I knew that it wouldn't be very long and the pursuit would be over.
A deputy sweeps ahead of the hobbled caddy, forming a rolling roadblock. With their getaway car in ruins, the suspects make a last-ditch escape.
The vehicle made it into the median, and all of a sudden I saw the driver's side door open, and the driver of the vehicle jumped out literally inches from the rear tire of the vehicle, inches away from serious injury, if not death.
Unfazed, the Hoods head for the hills. But both are quickly collared. A search of the Cadillac reveals a motherlode of contraband.
There was a considerable amount of crack cocaine along with close to 50 pounds of marijuana recovered.
It's enough to put these lead-footed pushers behind bars for several years.
It feels really good to know that you took these guys to jail. Pretty good catch. Pretty good catch.
Chesterfield, Michigan. Detective Joseph Feld has a very simple issue to discuss with the driver of this Camaro.
I observed a vehicle with a temporary paper license plate in the window. It was expired.
But the lady behind the wheel, Deborah Haddad, isn't in a talking mood. She guns it.
There's a school bus that she goes around, and we're not sure if it's full of kids or not at the time.
Up ahead, the suspect spots a hidden trap.
There were several officers staged at an intersection with some stop sticks. I believe she saw those and made a left turn into a residential subdivision.
That's when her frightened occupant sees his chance and makes a stunning choice.
The male passenger jumps out of the vehicle as it's still moving. I'd estimate that it was still probably going 20 to 25 miles an hour.
As the officer checks on the man, other units converge on Haddad. It turns out the road ends at a canal where she actually tries swimming to freedom. It doesn't work.
One of my responding backup officers jumped in the canal after her, where he took her into custody.
Police soon discover that Haddad had no reason to run other than avoiding a simple traffic ticket.
Yeah, that wasn't too smart.
Up next.
Holy cow.
A fleeing felon tries his luck on foot. But cops slam the door on his escape. Plus, a furious pursuit ends in a catastrophic crash. When most shocking, high-speed chases returns.
Brentwood, Tennessee. Two career criminals wanted for armed robbery are on the run. They punch the gas, blazing through an intersection in a desperate gamble to lose police. With their track record, these felons should realize the odds are against them. But the nature of a repeat offender is to keep pressing your luck until it runs out. They rocket toward a red light. A pickup never sees them coming. Both spin out in a cloud of dust. The suspects careen another 50 yards down the road. Units converge on the wreckage. There's no movement inside. Officers approach cautiously. The suspects, Timothy Pretty and Jeff Stewart, are alive and finally ready to surrender. one intersection too late. Amazingly, the driver of the pickup comes through with only minor injuries. In this case, criminals who fail to learn from their mistakes are doomed to rot in jail. Oakland, California. A high-octane carjacker flees from police. Officer Mario Martinez keeps pace a few yards back.
People do whatever it takes to get away from the police at times.
The outlaw exits onto surface streets, forcing his way through a bottleneck. Faced with another busy intersection, the suspect rumbles over a lawn. Officer Martinez stays hot on his tail, determined to get this menace off the road.
Anything could go wrong. I knew that he was armed. We had to take this guy into custody because he was a dangerous person.
An officer moves in for a pit maneuver. Right on target, the fleeing vehicle spins out of control. The carjacker bails on foot. But police still have one more trick up their sleeve. Martinez opens his door, knocking the offender off his feet.
It worked out perfect. As he was right next to my vehicle, I opened my door, and it was at the right time.
The desperado disappears into the trees, but cops are close behind.
I was able to grab the suspect by the legs as he's climbing over the fence. He didn't have the strength to get over that fence, so I was able to pull him back down to the ground.
The car thief thought he had a shot at getting away. But in the end, it was the long arm of the law that came out on top.
Coming up.
Get him, Matt, get him!
A rookie cop takes his shot and hits the bullseye.
Yeah, come on!
When most shocking, high-speed chases returns.
Hardyville, South Carolina.
Richie, I need you to get your guys on the interstate. I'm 10-0 with a truck right now coming into Georgia.
Officer Christian Nollinger has identified a stolen truck on the freeway and quickly finds himself in a furious race toward the state line. But the man inside is no ordinary car thief.
We're just entered into Georgia.
His name is James Young, an ex-con wanted on weapons charges. Nollinger has to take this guy off the road. There's just one problem.
I need you up here, man. I'm by myself.
He knows he can't risk it alone.
I need some help. This guy's driving crazy.
I think they're coming up on the one.
Up ahead, his Georgia colleagues are ready to answer the call.
All right, here they come. We are 1 and 9.
Officer Matt Lynn takes over lead position.
Be advised.
We reach speeds of up to 95 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic.
Oh, this guy almost wrecked out, man. This guy's driving crazy, brother. We need to get him stopped.
Lynn knows what he has to do.
I decided it was time to perform pit maneuver.
From his backup position, Nollinger urges his cohort on.
Do it now. Do it now. Come on, Matt. Quarter turn in, quarter turn out. Let's go, brother.
But there's more than just traffic that makes Lynn hesitate.
It was my first pit maneuver I've ever attempted.
The officer moves in for the hit. it doesn't work.
I struck the vehicle too far back, and he was able to slide off and recover.
The fleeing felon bolts toward an exit ramp.
Almost 1050. Now we're getting off 99A.
That's when cops catch a break.
Oh, do it now. Get up there, Matt. Come on. Get him, Matt. Get him.
He wasn't able to get his speed up fast enough, and before he got to another high rate of speed, I executed the pit maneuver. He shot off into the shoulder of the roadway and back through into the median, striking trees.
Yeah, come on!
Despite the knockout blow, the driver isn't done running.
Stand by.
He hops out and takes off. He's quickly nabbed. This hell ride just bought James Young a return ticket to prison.
This guy's driving crazy.
Turns out, Officer Matt Lynn's second chance became Young's last stand.
Yeah, come on!
When it's your job to keep the streets safe, things can go from 0 to deadly in a flash. But that's a risk that every officer accepts as part of their sworn duty to protect and serve.